now that we have a 2D design that is all closed, we can turn that into a 3D design if we want. So let's jump right in. Under Create, these are the main tools that you'll use on a regular basis for creating 3D objects. And the most common one you'll use is Extrude, the E shortcut. And if I click Extrude, or E, then you'll notice that this panel comes up with what it's asking me to do. And I can click on any single space, and if I just keep clicking, it'll add to it. Or I can hold Shift and select or deselect as I want. And let's say I want these 2 rings, but I don't want this hole here, and I want this outside ring as well. So let's click all those and see how that turns out. And then I can grab it and just extrude. I can go up or down in that axis, and I can make sure that I get it exactly the height I want. 10 millimeters. Hit Enter to confirm. Okay, let's go back and have another close look at what we've done. So I'm going to click E again. I'm going to click the shapes that I want. And before we go too far, let's make sure we're really understanding what we're doing. So I'm going to type 10 again. Notice that those were separate objects, separate shapes, and I've said to extrude them 10 millimeters. But notice that the operation is new body, and that it's by default it's going to connect all these things into one, because this is all one movement. I could later, I have a bunch of options. I could join, cut, intersect, new body, or new component. You're probably going to use most often join and cut, or new body. Let's see what else, how that interacts in the future. So let's say OK to that. Notice that our sketch is turned off just to make it easier to look at, and you can move your view cube around. Always go back to the home view. Let's turn our sketch back on so we can then rotate the view cube so we can grab these other objects and extrude them. Alright, so let's grab the outer part of the ring, or the space that was created by the ring in here, and let's hit E, and let's extrude that up 7 millimeters. 7 millimeters. And notice that the operation by default here is asking me to join it to this other body. And you'll know how many bodies you have by opening up the bodies section on the left. You notice I only have one body at the moment, which was this original one. I could either make a new body, which is going to mean that these cutouts are all going to be separate. It's going to end up with 5 bodies here, one for the big one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 separate ones. Or I could join them to this one. Let's say join for now. Join. So now, if you notice, I still only got one body. Let's try extruding in a different way. Let's try grabbing the center ring here, the ring inside the big ring, and trying to cut that into this space from the underside. Now, right now, if I try to grab those, I can't really grab them. I can try, but because this body's in the way, I can grab some of them. Notice I can grab that one. I can't really get this one. So the way to get around that is to either rotate to a view that you can see, or you can turn the body off for a moment, just the view of it, turn it off, and then you can grab the things that you want to extrude, and then turn the body back on. And then we wanted to cut these in from the bottom. I'm just going to rotate from the bottom to view from the bottom a little bit, and I'm going to say cut, and I'm going to drag that up. Notice that it turns red to say, yep, you're cutting all right. And let's try, what do you think will happen if I drag more than the height? Yeah, those are going to be disconnected. They're going to be side by side, but that's going to cut all the way through, and then I'm going to have 5 bodies. Let's say OK just to see and confirm that that's the case. So I'm going to cut that all the way through, and OK, well, it's left enough that it's connected there, but really that should be 5 different bodies, and if you were to print that, that wouldn't work. So those would all fall apart. So let's undo, and let's try that again. Let's go from the bottom. I'm going to extrude this. I'm holding shift. I'm going to extrude that up just 4 or 5, so let's say 5 millimeters. and see what that looks like. So from the top, I've got a ledge, and underneath I've got a little bit of a cavity that I've cut out there, but from the top you can't see it. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Lots of different options you can use for extrusion. Go ahead and play with those a little bit and see what you can come up with for interesting shapes. Do note though that if I make more than one body, then they won't necessarily interact with each other, and if you have separate bodies, I have something over here, obviously it wouldn't be connected to this main object. So be careful when you're choosing to join or create new bodies. Give it a go.